this is Chandra. I was asked to do a tutorial on the Stateside mini album. This is the 5x7 mini album that I did, and I'll show you how to do the pages for the album. And then on my channel there's already a tutorial on how to do a cover, how to do the binding, and how to attach the pages to the binding. So I'm not going to do a whole tutorial of the album, okay? I will link those videos below so that you can watch them. I will tell you the measurements of the spine and the covers. The covers are 5x7 and the spine is 2x7, okay? And then you're going to need 2 sheets of cardstock to make each page without the tags. You obviously need more for the tags. So to make the actual page itself, you're going to need a piece that measures 8x6, and you're going to need a piece that measures 4.5 by 7.5. And I cut this out of 1 sheet of paper. So if you cut it at 6.5, then you have the 8-inch, 8.5. You can just cut off a 1/2 inch and then get this piece out of it, okay? So first we're going to stick the 8 by 6.5 inch piece of paper in our scoreboard, and I hate this one, but we're going to use it. So you're going to score on the 8-inch side, meaning the 8-inch is at the top. You're going to score at 4.5. And now the 4.5 by 7-inch piece, you're going to stick it so that the 7.5 inches at the top, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch and then at 7. And this is going to create your page, your base page, whatever you call it. All right, so to create the pocket on the back of the page, you're going to need a sheet that measures 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, so I have the 5.5 inch side at the top, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch and at 5. I'm going to rotate it so that the 8.5 inch side is at the top, and I am going to score at 5. And this is the flap for the back page that measures 4.5 by 7. I'm going to stick it in so the 7 inches across the top, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And that's all the scoring for the actual pages, okay? So first I'm going to mess with the base page. So that's the sheet that measures 4.5 by 7. I'm going to fold up on my score marks. And again, this is where you want to use wet glue or score tape, some kind of strong adhesive, ATG or Tombow tape. You know, those tape runners, they won't work. Okay. And then you have the sheet that measures 8 by 6.5, and we're just going to fold that on the score mark. Okay, so since the left side is going to be my binding, I'm going to attach it so that the flap opens on the right, because I don't want the flap opening on my binding. Okay, so again, pretend this is score tape. You're going to apply score tape to your flaps while they're folded like this. Then I'm just going to fold my flap down, and I'm going to stick it on here. I'm going to line up the cut edge with the folded edge at the top, making sure that it's straight, going across this way, and press it down on the back. And so this is the first page. This is this page right here. Okay, and so now you have the pocket created here. If you have a little bit, you know, hung over, it's been drinking, then you can just snip it off with a pair of scissors or whatever. Those are bad scissors. I have like 13,000 pairs of scissors, and I still haven't found ones that I like. Although I do like tungsten ones. This brand's pretty good. Titanium ones, Westcott. Those are pretty good. So I just snipped off that. So now we're going to be working on the back of the page, and this is where this double pocket is. There's a pocket here and a pocket here, and then it has the flap. So the first thing I want to do is mess with my flap. So that's the 4.5 by 7 inch piece that we scored 1/2 inch. I'm going to apply my score tape on the flap while it's folded. I'm going to unfold it just for a second, and I'm going to cut off at an angle. And this just helps when you're matting. Okay, making sure I have the back side of my paper, and I'm going to line this folded edge up with the folded edge of the top of the page. And again, if you have any hangover or anything like that, you can trim it now. Now I'm going to open up my flap, and I'm going to have this piece here, this 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece. I'm going to fold on my score lines. I'm going to move this out of the way so you don't get confused. Okay, so I folded on my score marks. Now I'm folding this one up. And now what I want to do is I want to cut a little triangle out of each of these folds right here. I'm just cutting that little bitty, piece out of both of these. So I'm cutting in towards the fold mark, like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two flaps, I'm going to fold them up. So we want these flaps up. I'm going to apply my pretend score tape, and I'm just going to fold this up. And that's going to make the first pocket. Now we have these two flaps here. I'm going to apply my score tape to both of those flaps. And I'm going to cut off the corner again on the top. The bottom we already did. So I'm just going to cut it off at the top. Get the back of my page, open up my flap, and I'm going to fold my flaps in. So we had the sticky on the back. And now I'm just going to put it down. Now you're going to have an opening here on the bottom. What you're going to want to do is use wet glue for that. So just take your wet glue, and this is exactly why you don't want to use ATG. See how easy it is to pull the pocket up? So you're going to take your wet glue and just apply a small bead at the bottom of the page. And put it down. And so now you have the basic page. So you would attach the page by the left side pocket here. Now my tags, these were the postcards that came with the collection. So I'll measure that for you. That's 6 1/4 by 4 1/2, and that is the actual pocket of the page tag. And then the back has 2 pockets, and I have just 2 pieces of cardstock back here. The smaller pocket I have is 4 1/4 by 4, and the larger pocket tag is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And those are all the tags for this mini album. So as I said, you could make one page out of 2 pieces of cardstock, and then you'd probably need another piece of cardstock for the tags. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, I will put the links in the description of how to do the binding and how to do the covers, since you have the measurements of the covers, and I'll list the measurements in the description box below. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye.